Imagine this, you're at a social gathering, whether it be a business launch party or just hanging out with a group of friends. Most likely there's at least one person who knows how to play the piano, and for some reason many people find this intriguing. Why is this? Why is this such a topic of interest, and why does it draw people in? Why is it so well known, yet to some it's a talent that's almost unreachable to learn? Well, today I want to tell you about how the piano is one of the most well-known instruments in the world. I will discuss its invention and origin, as well as how it's been used in the musical world throughout history. For those of you who don't know, there are a couple of different categories of instruments. There are string instruments such as the violin, wind instruments such as the clarinet, and percussion instruments such as the drums. The piano falls into the string instrument category due to its internal mechanism and the way that the sound is made. If you've ever looked inside of a piano, there's a bunch of strings, and by pressing one of the keys, a hammer on the inside strikes the strings to create sound. Throughout history, there have been many different forms of pianos, but they had different names and they eventually evolved into what we know as a typical piano. According to Yamaha, the piano evolved from a pipe organ. You can typically find pipe organs in traditional churches, and they vary in size depending on the location. The largest pipe organ to ever be built is currently located in New Jersey, and it weighs about 150 tons. To put that into perspective, that's about 20 times heavier than an elephant. The pipe organ was then developed into what we know as the clavichord. The clavichord was created in the 14th century and became popular during the Renaissance. It's smaller than a typical piano today, causing it to have a smaller range of pitch as well as a quieter sound. The clavichord then evolved into what we know as the harpsichord, which kind of looks like a piano. It was created in Italy around 1500. The only difference is that the harpsichord, with its internal mechanisms, the strings are plucked rather than struck, like in a piano. Finally, the harpsichord evolved into what we know as the piano. The Harvard Dictionary of Music says that it was invented by an Italian man named Bartolomeo Cristofori in the year 1700. The original name of the piano translates to a harpsichord that can play soft and loud noises, but the name was obviously shortened. Cristofori wanted more control over the volume of the sound that the instrument created, which is why he invented the mechanism to strike the strings rather than pluck them. Because of the piano's many capabilities, it's one of the easiest instruments to create music with. There's a wide variety of notes you can play as well as combinations of sounds because of the fact that you can use both of your hands at the same time. There's lots and lots of history behind how the piano has been used to create music, both classical and contemporary. One of the most famous classical pieces of music ever written is called Für Elise, and it was composed by Ludwig van Beethoven in 1810. If you don't recognize the name of it, there's a 90% chance you've probably heard the tune. The reason why this song is so popular is because it's relatively easy to learn on the piano, and the tune is pretty catchy. There are also many other composers throughout history who have created timeless pieces of music, such as Mozart, Bach, and Chopin. Skipping ahead to the 20th and the 21st centuries, most of the songs we hear on the radio today were likely created on the piano. This includes Someone Like You by Adele and All of Me by John Legend. Even going old school, songs like Let It Be by the Beatles and Piano Man by Billy Joel were first created on the piano. As you can see, these different genres have that one similarity of originally being written on the piano. With its instrument, it's possible to create a tune and transpose it into something so much more than just a simple melody. In conclusion, because of the piano's large history and background, it draws people together to enjoy something. The piano is not just the piano. It evolved from many different instruments beforehand, allowing the capabilities of creating sound that it has today for both classical and contemporary genres, and even genres in the future. It's one of the most widely recognized instruments in the world because of this, and I hope that this inspires you to dig a little deeper and learn more about the piano.